I realized my job is fucked up. I pull up and it is chaos. There are cars everywhere, people are running, and law enforcement are coming around the loved one who had passed away. They were in the gazebo and they died because they took their own life. A self-inflicted gunshot wound. And it was in that moment, all of the screaming, the overwhelm, my having to go and make first contact, I realized my job is fucked up. I'm Nathan, musician, mortician, spent 13 years in the funeral profession. Yes, my songs even that are streaming now that you can find anywhere are inspired by my work. So be sure to subscribe, click the bell to be notified. It is a funeral professional. And you think, what the hell? That's one of those jobs. If Mike Rowe could get away with going and doing dirtiest jobs, and it's not that it's a dirty job, there are people that do that. On my TikTok channel, when I release anything that is funeral related, like for instance, whenever I show how to lower a loved one into a casket, they're like, bro, that's messed up, or what the hell did I stumble upon, or why am I here? I can't look away. That train wreck. It doesn't make sense. There are countless moments like that. Pulling up, screams, overwhelming. Your senses are just going berserk. And it's those moments that really ground you, or it's a fight or flight, or you need to pop a Lexapro, or jokes aside, you sift through all of that to realize that your job really matters. And on the other side of the table or coin, and I say table because if you're not in the funeral profession, maybe you've experienced a loss, maybe you've experienced a death. And for that, I send my love and sympathy. And the whole purpose of my sharing and educating is to meet you where you are and to let you know that you're loved, you're valued. And there's someone like myself, even better people who are out there dying to themselves to serve you and yours. They choose a total stranger in their family over self. They choose walking into the unknowns, a self-inflicted gunshot wound, a chaotic scene, over opening Christmas presents or over going to dinner with their spouse or significant other. They choose you, and that's a beautiful, beautiful thing and thought, but it's not always a beautiful thing on the other side. Or the time you go into the house and the sibling of a grown woman who had defecated everywhere. She had messed everywhere. She was totally fine. No signs of sickness. Got out of the shower and drops dead. The sibling comes up to me and says, "Are you going to clean that up?" Well, as a funeral professional, it's our job to have decency, kindness, and reverence to the loved one and their body, and obviously educate families as to who to go to for other things. We are not a crime scene cleanup crew, or we're not a cleaning crew. And it's hard to walk away from those moments because funeral professionals are feelers and they want to take care of everything. There are so many stories I could begin to tell you. Or going to the massive apartment complex, multi-story, and we're in this courtyard and we go, all law enforcement are outside. That is a sign when the coroner's outside, when law enforcement are outside coughing and gagging, you know it's bad. This loved one had been dead for 2 weeks. The way to the restroom was past the loved one. The survivor, they had mental health challenges and they thought they were sleeping. They didn't understand why it was smelly, so they just had all these air wicks spraying. I can't fault them. I am not making fun, but those are the situations that funeral professionals go into, and they wear suits. Yeah, the sibling, I had a brand new tie on, ruined. Took it off, nope, it's gone. If I had $1 for every suit. And that's why you also don't wear the nicest of shoes, because you're going to walk in some situations and circumstances. Mud, blood, mush, gush. It's going to happen. The truth of the matter is, I would think that at least once a week a funeral professional is like, what the hell is my job about? I mean, their job is to answer the phone. Hello? Yes, we have a loved one who is magically appeared at the top of the tree. Oh, did they commit suicide and hang themselves? No, we don't know how they're up there, but they're up there and they're deceased and we need you to come and get them down. And you have to MacGyver your way. These are real scenarios that happen. No one just dies in their bed, really soundly and sweet, like the Notebook type stuff. It's, what about the guy that had the toaster oven in his sink in his bathroom? That's real. Yeah, he was trying to take his life and he failed miserably doing that. He was trying his best, but he also had an engine hoist and block and hoisted an engine up in the family room. It's all kinds of people. If you can think it, it has happened. And these are the men and women, the funeral professionals who see these things, expose themselves. And it's not one of those things you can get used to. The people who say, oh, it doesn't bother me, I don't know that they're telling the truth. I think that they're trying to sound tough. There's still moments where I think about certain situations. I can still smell the way that a loved one smells whenever they burn up in a fire. And I can remember trudging through all of the water that is filling the house and pushing through insulation. And I can remember the spectacle that was the entire street and neighborhood. It was almost as if they were outside watching a movie at a drive-through theater. They had lawn chairs out and they were making this semicircle around what used to be the house. It was something else. And you're like, what the hell am I doing? So the next time you think of a funeral director, they're not just the person that sits across and speaks eloquently and wears a nice suit and tie, or they're necessary. And they have a very odd job, because the moment that phone rings on any particular night or day in which they're scheduled to be on call, they answer it and then they go. Or what about the time when the hearses get hung up in the snow? Not one transfer van, not two transfer vans, but the hearses, and you're digging it out. The snow is being at 1 a.m. with a bunch of elderly people. God rest his soul. You really are. And you're like, why did you get the hearse out? But you do what you must to get to the loved one. You do what you must to tend to the family. You do what you must to show care and compassion and kindness. That is what a funeral professional does. And whether it's feces or blood or all of the above, or tragedy or sadness or heaviness, or is it an illness that took a sweet little old lady, they show up. Funeral professionals have a weird-ass job. Never ending, always shifting, never the same. Ever the same. When you're like, well, I've heard that, seen that, smelled that, I've done it all. No, you have not. No, you have not. Because then the next phone call comes in. Do you ever have the idea in your head, you're like, I want to go and do that? I remember the first night I worked, not only did I get yelled at for not knowing where the trash bags were, but also, you should quit, was one of the first things said to me, because they, even though they were assholes, they realized and knew what I was getting into more so than I did, that I would have arguably no life. Really, I mean, it sounds pathetic, but it's somewhat true. You die to yourself. You are always on call. Even when you're not on call, you're available. Even when you're available, you're obsessive about this phone, and then it ruins relationships and friendships because you're always at your phone and on your phone, and you're at the mercy of your phone. You're at the mercy of a noise. You're at the mercy of a family. You're at the mercy of everyone else and every other thought and every other thing but you and your own. It's like you don't exist to a degree. It sounds so overdramatic. It's so fulfilling, though. It just is a tough reality. It's a tough pill to swallow. But the moment I feel that you acknowledge it and you totally dive in, you are set for a life of true purpose. Really. And then you throw in the music and the tech that people don't embrace in the funeral profession overall, but we won't go there. That's not what this video is about. Thanks for being here this far. Be sure to subscribe, click the bell to be notified when I release content exclusively here, like our brand new merch, which you can get in the description, and my podcast, which you can check in the description, or the Triers Club. The Triers Club. Every member has access to first listens, first looks, exclusive VIP experiences, meet and greets, tickets. I'm talking really, really fast. The truth of the matter is I have learned some life-altering things from the profession. Being kind and compassionate and having perspective instead of just a perception of something that's lazy, but being slow to anger, slow to judgment. It's important. I don't care if you have much or if you have little. I accept you. I honor you. I welcome you. And I want to be a part of your life and offer you something of substance. And I want that in return, because that's what life is about. It's about creating a community. It doesn't matter if you have a lot of friends or a few friends. At the end of the day, it's about your works and your kindness towards others and yourself, because When the sun sets on my life, I want you to know that you're valued and there are people who choose you. Even if your family is no longer around, even if you don't have people, there are total strangers that will suit up at a moment's notice, whether there's 2 feet of snow and they've been digging it out away from the hearse to get to you. Funeral professionals, we don't even think a second thought about it. We just do it. Be sure to subscribe, click the bell to be notified. And all of my songs are inspired by my works. Check it out wherever you stream your music. Nathan Morris last time, for instance. It would be much appreciated. Check out the new merch, especially the 988 series, which is the Lifeline. 988. You are loved so much that there are people that devote their lives to answering a phone if you are in need of support. 988 series, check out that merch. Proceeds from every 988 series sale benefits the Lifeline, the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. Mental health awareness is critical and paramount. Check yourself before you wreck yourself. Be kind to yourself. Be kind to others. You're a love far more than you could ever know. That is this video. And yeah, morticians have a crazy ass job. There are people that do it. Yep. And we use an engine hoist to get loved ones in the casket. We don't, but it does look like one, but it can't. Okay. I'll talk to you at the next video. Okay. Goodbye.